Hello, everybody. We're back. Just
Welcome
talking about talking about doomsday trauma and whatnot.
Welcome back to the Epic of Lagillon, where we give our resident cleric trauma.
Yeah,
sorry.
Hold on. No. We give our resident elves trauma because you chose to be an elf in my campaign.
Hey, against elves, man. Goddamn dwarf people, man.
I'm not an elf. I'm also not human.
Yeah, we started off with his trauma early and got it out of the way.
Yeah. You already tore off my band-aid. I'm fine.
Yeah. Your two is just lingering right now.
I got delayed reaction.
Yeah. All right. It's at that point in which we do our recap from the first half.
There we go again.
So give me those D20s to see who gets to be the one that does that.
Aya!
Now
Yeah!
Wow, that one.
Oh, no!
That was also one.
Hey, trauma.
Hey, who?
Of course.
I had an 18.
Oh,
nice.
wow.
Hey, trauma.
Here we go again. Alright, so let's see if I can wrap this up.
All right.
Group left the room.
That wrapped it up.
Let's talk to the Grey Bane. Group was fucking confused. Elenan and Naoma went to go see Elenan's mom. Got shot down. Because, middle of the night. Don't want to wake your mom up. Because she'll fucking beat you.
Mom,
With an oar.
Mama. Mommy.
No, you won't even get one mom in. It's just instantly smacked.
Not with this mom.
Instead, they decided to meet up later and are going to have a nice heart-to-heart. Aloria and Stolen went to the church. Talked to some people, found out, oh, hey, yeah, their cleric friend isn't there. Instead, went to the paladin place, where there's a bunch of weird shit going on. Let's just leave it at that.
People.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Where Aloria talked to them, found out that her friend is there, and wanted to talk to the rest of her party. Stolen had a stare down that he lost, and then they left.
Paladins decided to recruit a weeping angel. Like, what the fuck, man?
Melody went to deliver some booze, had a nice, lovely conversation with a wonderful dwarf, and then decided to leave, if I remember correctly, and is heading back to the castle. At the much begrudging warnings of the town guard for some reason. And then
he must not think I'm worthy. I'm going to light the beacon, whether he wants me to or not.
You're not worthy.
calls for aid.
The beacons are lit!
Call for aid.
And they will have it!
And then Fel and Arya had a nice heart-to-heart, where Arya took his advice and decided to meditate for a bit, and decided to get some trauma.
Yes!
Well, not decided. Just, yeah.
God has decided, hey, I'm gonna give you back all your memories. Have fun.
I don't know if that was my goddess. I got that one.
It was just not very gentle.
Let me remind you of something here. You may have forgot due to your class. Eventually, you get divine intervention. It causes you to roll a D100. The lower the roll, the better the chance. So for you, the D100's always been reversed.
Oh.
Okay.
You rolled the absolute fucking lowest.
Blasted with a
like,
memory shotgun.
I did not know that's what was going on, so cool.
There would have been essentially, you would get that thing at level 10, which, because it gives you at least a 10% chance of success. Because they don't expect you to ever get like a 1, 2, 3, 4, or like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at all on a D100. So they're like, we'll push that later. Me, I'm just like, fuck it. If you're gonna commune with your God, you commune with your God.
Yeah.
If the chance so happens where you get to that tiny fucking percentile, there you go.
It's
It might not be helpful in combat.
It's stated that the god doesn't necessarily have to even respond to you.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Well, so I got lucky that they did, and I appreciate it. Now that I understand it was reversed.
I just want to take a moment to say, Dantage wins the internet for saying get blasted with a pump memory shotgun.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just basically the world's biggest migraine and get all your memories back.
Oh no, we'll
great.
get to that here in a second.
Just walking down the hallway from the conversation.
Just
all
you're screaming.
Well, with the way that meditation seems to work, probably an hour or so has passed.
Oh, are you finishing up your recap, or is that the end?
Does anybody else have anything to add?
I don't think so.
I
All right.
ruined your beach
Take
episode.
us away.
Yeah, Melody decided to say no to the beach episode plan.
Yeah.
True. Once you heard there was a speedo.
Doesn't matter.
Beowulf, as you begin walking away, after a
shit,
few
here we go.
moments, as you finally get to the door to the castle,
Yeah.
you will have an almost unnatural sound reaches your ears.
Now. Unnatural, you say.
As the sound of what seems to be thousands of voices ring out in screams of agony.
I'm going to draw my sword now.
As you draw your sword and you turn around for a split second, a cold chill drapes over your body as in a flash, as you turn, a face is in front of yours. Eyes sunk in with this burning red bright light. A gaunted mouth with lesions all across it. A dark hood with metal rings holding it down onto the skin itself. And chains draped over the shoulder greets you. In a moment you blink as that vision is gone, and upon the ground is lying Arya.
So, he says this, by the way. He's like, I told you not to do anything stupid.
She is unconscious.
He takes a quick look around. The wraith or anything. Do I still got like the eerie feeling?
It is gone.
It's gone completely.
As
No
as
more
you're-
echoes of the damned.
No, as you look around, you will notice that there is a glow from the other side of the statue.
Which way is the statue to me right now?
It is the other side, a little ways away from Arya, on the other side of her. So as you turn back,
over and look behind, I guess.
the sword in the statue is glowing. It gives off this warm glow of almost this golden light. As slowly it fades.
Puts fingers together. I touch the sword.
Touch it. Make. Oh, sure. Go ahead and make for me a charisma saving throw.
What'd you expect, man? He's not Arcana based, alright?
Brother, please,
as
I
the
beg you to
final
cease.
as
He
the
just
final
sees a
moments
fucking shiny sword.
as the final moments of light begin to fade from this blade as you touch it, make for me a charisma saving throw.
21.
Will not pass.
What?
Bruh.
You feel your mind shunted as you watch the world around you play in reverse. You will watch you and your party very quickly gather back up in reverse to the front of the gate, go back in, and then leave. Days begin to fly by over and over. Seasons pass. All you can see are blurs of people moving back and forth, till eventually you are there standing in an untouched courtyard. No glaciers, no statue. The castle, the walls slightly shorter, thinner, it seems. A cool, warm, and a cool, welcoming breeze meets you.
Oh, at least it's welcoming.
As you look over the sky itself, not filled with a single cloud. Somewhere around the mid-morning, as you watch a figure exit from the two large doors.
Am I about to have another existential conversation with this same motherfucker?
This
Or am I gonna have
individual,
another motherfucker conversation?
this individual passes by you, their face blurred out, with their armor clear, blue in plate, a long cape. Others begin to exit the building behind them, ignoring your presence. The larger individual, clad in dark armor, rests his hand on the individual in blue. They mutter something warped by whatever magic brought you to this place.
I recognize either of these two.
Make for me a history check with advantage.
Well, at least that's something I'm good at. Kinda.
With advantage?
I mean, could be recent or it could be so critical.
Yeah. You always do go on a history
You
check.
remember your father telling you about a particular soldier, a warrior he met when he came to the Battle of Whitewater. A man dressed entirely in darkened armor trimmed in gold, wielded a massive blade that cleaved men and beast in two. Doesn't remember the warrior's name, but he does recall that he was a king of a neighboring land of Whitewater. But through your knowledge and everything you've seen, as you look at this individual, you're able to begin to conclude this is King Bakovic
Of the Spartans?
of Novgorod.
Novgorod.
More than likely, with the same with that history check, this must be that adventuring party that he was in. You can see an individual with this slightly blued blade. A woman in long white robes with a staff made of a deep sapphire gem. The warrior dressed in blue, a short halfling man with a long brimmed hat. And a warrior amongst them bearing a shield crest with every god of the West. They stand there exchanging words twisted by this magic. The sky begins to darken as the spellcaster casts something into the air. You watch as the arcane letters, as they rise, burn into this red ash as it goes beyond them. That feeling of oppression, the chill down your spine reaches you once more as all of them turn and face a singular direction. towards the center of this castle citadel. Standing there, draped in chain, from head to toe, a long robe underneath with rings attaching the hood to the face. This wave of necrotic energy slowly drifting off them like fog. They stand there as the adventuring party readies their weapons and begin to charge. The sky begins to rain blood as two of them, the one that had the gods on their shield, gets thrown into the air. King Bekovic is immediately impaled by a string of chains as a flash of bright light emits as soon as the blue armored individual makes contact with the entity. Your vision goes back to normal as you stand there as the light fades from the blade.
Well then. He's gonna be like, the fuck was that?
As you begin to look around and see the preserved battlefield around you, all of those same motions and attacks still there. The gouges, the blood stains. Even the spells cast by the spellcaster of their party left frozen in place. As you glance over to where you saw the creature standing, there is a large pool of blood laid in there, faded with time.
Huh. Blood that doesn't deteriorate or get washed away?
No, it's as if the stonework is just stained. It's been washed away over the years, like watching paint fade, essentially.
Okay.
But there is the distinct discoloration of that a large pool of blood was there.
So, to put names to faces of the individuals I just saw, it would have been obviously Mr. Spartan, man.
Okay.
I don't know who the mage lady was. I've never seen that before in my life. I don't think I recognize Blue Shield.
There was a blue sword. And
Blue
then there was
sword.
a shield with a whole bunch of crests of gods on it.
I don't think I recognize anybody that was of superior religion.
You do recognize the sword in which you touched was wielded by the individual in blue. And the statue in which you are standing at is the King of
This is
Whitewater.
Whitewater. Yeah, okay, so then, logic dictates that would be Mr. Whitewater. So he's Mr. Super Religion.
He did not brandish a shield at that point. The individual that you saw that was, air quotes, Mr. Super Religion, wore a different set of armor and carried a spiked mace.
Okay, so probably a cleric of some sort. As they tend not to use bladed weapons. Do I have knowledge of a cleric that would have traveled with those individuals?
Make me a history check with disadvantage.
A 11.
You do know that the number of the party consisted of at one point a total of 6. Though 4 members are supposedly widely known. I'll give it from your critical on your history there. 4 members are widely known. The Frost King of the North.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
King Bakovic, King Whitewater, and the first King of Auditore.
Which was Mr. Feather in the Cap. Happy-go-lucky dude.
Yeah.
I didn't see him there. I saw a halfling.
With a large brimmed hat and a feather in his feather in it.
So he just looks different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That or this is the true king and some fuckery happened and that's not actually his bloodline. Which, honestly, it's the West. It is possible. And well, I still don't know anything about this mage lady. I've never seen a mage lady like that. Well, aside from Aloria.
No, you've never heard anything about a mage, but you do know that there was a spellcaster, though you have no idea who the heck they may have been. The other individual with the shield completely escapes you.
Is that... No. And I couldn't see any of his racial features or even skin tone or anything like that.
The individual with the shield?
Yeah.
No, you can tell that the individual did not wear like a glorifying set of armor. It was not noble of any kind. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, it looked like it would have been like either some sort of religious artifact that had seen combat before,
or hand-me-down,
or armor that may have once belonged to a great hero of old. Mm-hmm. It was degraded yet sturdy from what you had seen of it. It looked like it would still function in battle, but it's definitely something of another age.
Interesting. Well, that's a riddle for another day, and I'm not about to tackle a 51st problem, so settle with what's in front of me like I preached to Aloria as I pick her unconscious body off the ground, just slump it over my shoulder, like, okay. She didn't have her weapon on her, does she?
No. As you look back over to that area where she was before, it is still there.
I'll go pick it up.
Okay.
I'm nice. He goes pick up the bow. He's not gonna get a divine trip slip again, is he?
No, it's just a fucking bow.
Okay, she picks up the bow then.
Not glowing or anything.
Fine trip.
As he then walks over to the rooms that were given to them. I'm assuming it's either one room or separate. What is it?
You're offered any room that you so desire, so you can take just a private looking room and stick her in there if that's what your goal is.
Well, yeah, I guess I will. I'll open up the door. Of course, I'm going to knock first because I'm polite. So, okay. Knock. Any answer?
No answer.
All right, then he takes her in. There's a bed.
Yeah,
I'll put her in a bed. I'm not going to undress her because she's probably in armor and that's rude, so sorry. Put her on the bed. I'll put the weapon next to her. Is there a chair in here?
Yeah, there's a desk with a chair.
I'll go sit in the chair and just sleep in the chair.
All right.
Nice. Good for your posture.
He fucking climbs mountains. You really think he gives a shit?
Eventually, the rest of the party finds their way there. Are you guys gonna end up going to bed?
Don.
Cough, cough. Cough, cough. But the party, as they begin to get to the castle, will be let in. Even you as well, Shadow. Your description was given to the guards, so they saw you and ushered you through this extremely reinforced set of gates.
Oh, that's funny. The guard warned me about this place, and they seem so friendly.
Yeah, wonder what that's about.
Wonder what that was about.
Definitely the fact where they seem like they came out of nowhere for a second and then let you in and disappear.
Weird.
Jack Garrett fell.
Oh, well, I should look into it.
That is fellow to a fucking T. These idiots will be the death of me.
All right.
Oh man.
As the rest of you begin to return, no one seems on edge. No alarms seem to have been rung. You guys are able to end up entering into the castle. Those of you that are showing up while the others have already either come in or have yet to return will be ushered to a room by maids and butlers. Will take you to a room and tend to your needs for food and whatnot.
As we're walking in through the gates, there's that. You said there was like an ice thing, right? Like an ice hand.
Yeah.
Or
a large, like a spell that was cast that ended up being in the shape of a hand that's still frozen there. The entire courtyard looks like a battle happened recently, though the blood has faded over time.
Interesting. Okay. I'm just gonna keep moving on.
Yep. Eventually all of you will be taken to a room and where you will find rest. Unless anybody else has plans in the castle.
I will say, look at the map. Back.
Stolen would take a bath
Okay.
before going to bed,
All right.
folding his clothes up and send them to the side.
Shadow would ask one of the butlers for food.
They will promptly bring you a tray of baked pork chops, a large potato, and an assortment of steamed vegetables.
All right. It would test the plate first, but after finding that it wasn't poisoned, he would eat it.
Okay.
Obviously being his paranoid self. Cause who fucking knows? Cause guess who's here?
Yeah. Somewhere.
Jesus.
All right. Eventually, you all will get a full night's, full 8 hours of rest. The sun rises early. Stolen, as you bathe and lay into the bed, though you don't have to sleep. You trance. The full length of time that you ended up being awake has put you under a form of exhaustion, where you end up sleeping in a little, or trancing into a sleep, and stay in for a little while longer. Eventually, you will all wake 8 hours later as daylight rings in from the windows high in the room. Celia, are you still there, Celia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Arya, as you wake, that vision will have just ended. You will awake in a strange place, not where you were before.
And I feel okay?
Do you feel okay?
No.
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought. I'm going to look around, see what I can find.
You will see Felwolf asleep in a chair. Though it doesn't look very comfortable. He's ended up where his hip is still on it, his pelvis is, but his feet are on the floor, and his body's like sprung out against the desk, like he's laying on it as well. Kind of like how Fallout rag physics work for the bodies, essentially.
Those things just ragdolled.
That's awesome.
Best part about being a soldier is you can sleep fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
I will get up, grab my bow because it's beside me, and walk over to Fel. Shake him a little bit.
Alright,
Go get some sleep.
I was sleeping.
In a better place than this.
I was comfortable.
Didn't look like it.
Oh, it's an attempt to make it seem that way.
Getting a sense of deja vu right now.
He was using an inkwell as a pillow.
Does it look like there's left an imprint on his face?
No, there's the shape of the cork pressed against the temple. That's about it.
I have like a loose sheet of paper stuck in my face.
The quills
So
in his
reach
hair.
up, take the piece of paper, put it on the desk, go to a bed and get some proper sleep.
I feel rested now. How long has it been? How long have I been asleep? Estimate?
8 hours. You had full,
Alright,
full
I feel
rest.
fine.
Yeah. You got like a kink in your neck a little bit, but that's normal for sleeping out in flat terrain.
Just grabs his neck, snaps it. Alright, we're good to go.
Nice.
I'm the living dead.
I know that exact feeling. I vibe with that so hard.
I've done that before.
I literally did that last night.
Well, let's see if we can get some food then.
I can make something.
I would like
This is
that.
a castle. I bet they have some sort of kitchen. I just don't know if we're allowed.
She did say to make ourselves at home.
Besides, I would like to test out something new I haven't got to use yet.
She'll raise an eyebrow. Why you definitely have to share.
He takes this long sheath thing from his backpack side. He's like, I finally get to use this.
What is that?
Kind of like tightens his grip on it, squints his eyes. It's a secret.
God.
Okay then.
I'm
The sausage tube made of people.
God damn.
Well,
Oh my god.
lead the way.
I don't know how this is dirty talk, Zeph.
Yeah, I don't
3
get
feet
that.
long.
Yeah, at 36 inches. Yeah, sure, whatever, man.
Roughly 3 feet, yeah.
Oh my god.
You can be both. You can be both, Don. Don't worry about it.
I'm strangely aroused right now.
You are a ruse.
My god.
Yeah, we'll go look for the
This is
kitchen.
where it's gone. This is just what happened. Okay. Yeah, moving on. We're getting out of here. Getting out of the situation.
Enough
We're leaving.
fanfic. We're moving.
No.
No, we're not.
Welcome.
Comes in.
Welcome, yes.
Silence you.
Lock him as like fucking radar.
Welcome her glued. I was just like, hey, yo.
Tick. Keep your mouth shut. Shut your bitch ass up.
Time to take it to the kitchen counter.
All right. As let me see here.
That did not sound good.
No, it didn't.
Argo's laughing too.
Oh man.
As you
Let's get a
be,
round of applause for Celia with the fucking.
as you exit out the door, you'll hear a commotion.
Hello?
What? Zeph? How the fuck?
What?
You'll hear a commotion as soon as you exit through your door as it echoes down the halls.
Does it sound like fighting?
It sounds kind of like yelling.
Yelling, you say?
I guess we should go check that out.
Would our guest like to start yelling?
Now, why did you come back here all of a sudden? I just left. What do you need from me now?
As you hear that being essentially, I'm going to assume our guests currently can't holler where they're at.
No.
So that's fine. So we'll go with it. It's D&D. Use your imagination, guys. As you begin to move down the hall, are you intentionally moving towards this commotion as this individual is yelling?
Oh,
Yeah.
look at Arya. Is she really hungry?
How hungry? Like, what kind of hungry are you looking for there, bud?
Well,
Two kinds of hungry.
I found her
Technically three
hat
for her.
now, so obviously there's
She-
some sort of starvation imminent.
You did not have comfortable dreams last night, so you do know that she had eaten.
Okay.
In that regard, though, in a physical regard, that's more on her. It's not as if she is dying from hunger.
Don is just going to town in chat right now.
Jesus Christ.
Arya doesn't have to eat. Are you guys
Okay.
moving towards the commotion that seems to be in the entry?
Is
Question.
that the way towards the kitchen?
How?
You don't know where the kitchen is,
Huh.
but you do know
That's
whoever's
just-
yelling. They might be yelling at somebody that might know where the kitchen might be.
That's true.
How loud is this?
What is so sudden that I had to return?
There you go. All of you will begin to hear this being yelled as it echoes through the halls. So those of you that did sleep will also hear this.
Arya will immediately investigate.
Yeah.
Hi, mate. Bit loud for the morning, yeah?
I was told I can finally leave this place.
As your groups begins to find their way towards the main hall, if our guest would like to describe themselves.
Hungry?
Hold on.
Motherfucker.
What you'll see is a average height human with like white, just short hair going across, a very nice type of white vest with blue and somewhat purple inlays, a very nice belt with what appears to be a type of rapier sheathed to the side, like piercing blue eyes, some type of just like a very nice fancy watch piece he keeps on his side, and what appears to be two very large bodyguards at his side as he's just yelling constantly.
Beowulf, you will immediately recognize the two bodyguards as the unique individuals you saw on the road on your way to Whitewater. One of them large, clad in this matte white armor with a large blade. The other with a long spear.
Oh, okay, so it's the turd. Got it. It's the ruler of Aldatore, quote unquote. Whatever.
As the individual in which he is yelling at is Lady Whitewater. It wasn't you in specific, it's to the royal court. You just happen to be on the list.
Still, what happened all of a sudden that everyone had to come back?
I would like to be able to discuss that when everybody gets here. If you would be willing to wait for the 72 hours as it was designated, which is less now as you traveled here, we will begin to discuss what the emergency message was for.
He'll walk up at that point, knowing what the conversation is about. Still in his samurai garb.
Okay.
Arch DMs.
Hold on. Okay. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you that are near the party will notice that a member disappeared while the other approached.
So I have to wait 3 more days here.
About 2.5. It did take you some time to get here.
Just frustration on his face. Just
I'm sure there's
Fine.
something you can find to do.
I'll look over it. You just said that.
You
This is a
will,
samurai.
yeah, it would be. You are familiar with the appearance of Fellow's character, though your character is not.
Okay. Yeah, I would just look at him up and down and just pay him no mind. Needs to go back to just kind of discussing back to Lady Whitewater on. Fine. Where do you want me?
You can choose the room you stayed in before. There are other places in town, or whichever room you so desire that isn't already occupied.
Very well. Alright, Chalk, Vortex, let's go. Just if you need me, you know where to find me. I'm going back to my room.
I will let the hands know.
Very well. And I'll turn around and begin to leave.
Once he's out of earshot, what a pompous dickhead.
Yes, it seems that way.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
Unfortunately, he was the last one to leave in the last meeting. So, first one back.
See.
There are there are going to be a few other people as they find their way into town. There's still a couple more days.
I should say something to you that was very strange last night. As this is your castle, I think it is something you should know. The statue with the sword of your father
What about it?
That sword was glowing last night.
She'll just kind of squint and look at you.
I touched it, and I believe I saw the past. Specifically, this, as he motions to the courtyard, all the scars. I saw that.
What you see?
I will use my. I'd be a little bit more refined about it because I don't want to be like disingenuous or.
They're getting
rude.
their ass kicked.
Yeah. I would be a little bit more elegant than that because I know who this is to her. So I would describe it with detail in a way she would be able to envelop.
That's strange. Never heard of that happening before.
It was right after something rather intense. A image, I guess, would be best to describe it, as I don't believe it was really there. It was my friend was meditating in the clearing that you see over that way, communing with her goddess. I sat there for a while, watched her, and then as I grew tired, I walked inside, across the statue. Right when I crossed the threshold of the statue, these voices rang out in some disfigured horror. I turned around, drawing my sword, expecting some manner of evil. Though there was nothing, just this image of a twisted face, gaunt. And as quick as it was there, it was gone, as if it never existed. And then at my feet at the base of your statue was our acquaintance.
I've had my father's sword looked at before. It is highly magical, though it's not something that summons or has that kind of magic. It can lay upon an area an aura of either cleansing. There's healing aspects to it.
Well, that's just where my idea was leading me is. Now, correct me if you think I am not skilled in arcane ways, only I approach things from what's presented to me. Now, what if, as you say, this sword has some sort of an aura, right? Something of radiance or righteousness, what have you. Our friend obviously has had something done to her to potentially alter her. What if whoever has done this had some sort of a grasp still upon her, and then coming into closer proximity with your artifact here, was able to dispel this evil?
Possibility, but who would have activated it?
As I said, I have no idea. It's only something that I have thought about last night as she slept. Arya herself is not evil. The fact that she's able to walk into temples and worship a divine should be proof enough. Something else was in play. I fear that we may need to keep a close eye on these next proceedings. I think someone may try to interfere.
All right. I'll inform the guests that have already arrived. Though one of them says that they're familiar with your party, and you just met the other.
Which is the one that's familiar? We have traveled quite a bit.
He wears a mask.
Oh, I know the individual you speak.
Okay.
It'd be best for me to find my tactical counterpart, as this is more his domain than mine. And yeah, I hear you chuckling out there, you bitch. I threw you damn right. That's your bus. I ain't landing on it.
Nice.
I'm going under that bus. I'm taking your ass with me.
Currently, he's out wandering the town as normal, so... if we're able to get an eye on him, we'll let him know. About possible interference. Bit of warning. Common occurrence around here, though I know you're new. There will be a dragon that will fly over town. The individual who uses that as a form of transportation is also part of the group that is gathering here. So do not fret or think that there is danger. More than likely, you'll end up feeling sorry for the dragon.
If possible, when they arrive, could I be notified?
Sure.
I would like to see this individual because I've encountered something similar that I had questions about.
All right. From what you've told me about your woes, it may be smart, at least a little bit, to avoid prolonged contact with Altair.
Yes. I will attempt to avoid them at all costs.
As long as you avoid high-class places, that will more than likely happen. Any of your troop is able to sit in on the public senate. You sit in to listen. It's across the way. Individual, one of the gates are opened up to allow people to go in and discuss civil matters. Other than that, you can roam about the town, as it is daylight out. We'll find meals here. Though in my opinion, the meals here are, they pale in comparison to some of the things you may find out there. Other than that, truthfully, you have freedom here in Whitewater, so
I would probably visit my family first, and then I may pay a visit to your senate.
all right. I would suggest keeping Aria clear from the Paladins. The Citadel in the southeastern part of town.
I see.
It does make you cross a bridge to get there, so it's not like you will run across it by accident. Just, I don't know how they would react. They are individuals that hunt what are normally viewed as evil, be it demons, others, and planers. So, I doubt if I give them word first that they will act so rashly, but I've yet to be able to speak with them.
Trust me, Arya doesn't want to be anywhere near there, even if we are allowed in. Or rather, if she is allowed in.
They are not bad people. They are heavily guided towards a specific way of thinking. I prefer our cities to be gathered in one place so that we can easily watch. Everyone else will more than likely be welcoming. Though, as normal, you probably wouldn't like to make who you are widely known. But I doubt any of the younger generations would truly mind. We're not evil people. There's still some pain that some carry, though most don't carry. We've had many years of prosperity since, and most of them seem to push those horrid years behind and tend to forget. Though it's childish, it helps people let go of grudges.
We appreciate the warning, but don't let us hold you any further. I'm sure you have more important things to do.
I've relinquished all governing duties to the people. Mostly all I deal with are... She gestures towards the direction Altair went.
Dignitaries.
Yeah. The fun part, as she smiles with her teeth.
He'll put the quotations in the air.
The fun part, yeah. That's my strong suit. The people take care of themselves. We provide aid and pay them and provide ways for foreign affairs and things like that to happen within our city. If I do recall, you guys did inform her of Annette, correct?
We said Annette and the guy.
Autumn.
Yeah, that him. Yeah, Mr. Spartan.
I did receive word from Bakovic that Autumn returned. Though how he made it that far surprises me. If he happened to have a horse, the horse is more than likely dead.
This is Autumn we're talking about.
He's not one to truthfully understand animals. Warfare is his one great thing.
He has surprised us before, so...
Well...
Are you back visible?
Yeah, she's back visible.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot to mention.
I was like, all I know is she disappeared. I was like, okay, yeah, walking off somewhere.
I did not want to be anywhere fucking near that.
In regards to pets, I knew him when he was younger, and he was given a bull and a large, wide open field, and the bull somehow still died. Don't know how. There was fresh water, there was grass, it just still died. He does not have good luck with animals.
Well, thankfully, we don't need him for his animal handling ability. His warfare-centered mind is more so what we need him for.
Well, there's another problem. Though I hope I'm able to call that fire. Annette never found her way home.
Really?
She was with her sister, Erin.
We've had mages search for them, nothing.
You think the agents of the Turnterrors got to them before they could leave the city?
I don't know. You notice her face kind of goes from being that gentle aspect to more of slightly scared.
They are not weak individuals. They're...
Loria, as I've...
What may have happened to them is less scary than what their father will do.
The fact that they disappeared inside of Aldatore territory would strengthen our cause regardless. Doing so, wait for it, doing so would allow us to search for them unimpeded.
Yuri does not do things so diplomatically.
It would likely be war.
I've called him here in hopes that I can delay him until you've come up with a solution to help with your issue and send others to search for Annette.
From what I saw, Annette and the one that followed her quite skilled in different ways. I highly doubt that both of them were captured if they were captured.
I doubt they're dead.
I agree. It'd be more fortuitous for an enemy to use leverage.
If they are not captured, they are in hiding, which means they are in grave danger wherever they are.
Once the proceedings are over, we could try to go find them.
Go back to Auditore.
You have a war to deal with.
Besides, unless we have the support of Whitewater to enter Auditore and take over the city, we shouldn't be going back there.
At the same time, I might state, though we are one group, we do have our own contacts that can aid Queen in her endeavors to locate these two. People who can travel.
Hawk, for instance.
Not just them. But anything to help her out would be good. She has helped us in the past, so I'd like to return the favor.
So if we cannot do so directly, we can do so indirectly.
What do you know of Hawk?
Hawk is the, I'll say, mentor to one of our group.
So you're aware then of who he is?
I don't personally ask questions to these nature. It's not my place. The individual that travels with us is very keen on who he is, to the point where when they meet, neither refuse the meeting.
Hawk also helped us out of Oasis as well.
He's quite possibly the reason we ever made it out alive.
Mostly due to a debt to my father being repaid.
He's very big on those. You'll hear coming out from the study, soft footsteps. Lady Whitewater, they have no idea exactly who I am. Oh, I assumed by their suggestion of you hunting them down, they did not know. Indeed. But thank you. I'm sure they would like to find their way further through the city. Enjoy it while they can. I suspect Yuri will be here tomorrow with his army. So, I would suggest letting your guard to know he would never attack Whitewater, but he may be beyond reason. I understand, yes. I'll let them know. If you'd all excuse me.
Who was it that was just talking with her?
Hawk.
Hawk.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you say Hawk, so I was
Yeah.
a bit confused.
As she leaves, I'm going to turn to Hawk. I imagine that you have some explaining to do.
I have a guess, if that was okay.
Yes, away. I'd be delighted to hear.
Sultan of Oasis?
What's yours? Still look towards you, Alaria.
Well,
Well, what? You...
she asked you a question.
No, she made a statement, a guess. You had the
It
question.
was my guess. You make your guess.
It was something I hadn't thought of before, but if we're just gonna throw guesses out, then I would agree with Arya here.
So you picked up a new member? As you look over at Neoma.
Tolv kind of steps in front of her.
Don't mean of harming her. Just so that you required more aid.
Well, if you leave your mark like you do on Shadow whenever you reunite with us, then
Master-pupil
Forgive us.
relationship.
Shadow coughs
In-
across the room.
in any
Shadow's still asleep, isn't he?
Wouldn't sink
I
it.
never said I was asleep.
And you've
If
been
I
there.
may interject,
Mhm.
what you do as a mentor, and I use that term loosely, has no pull. I've had many tutors in many different subjects. Not once have I been physically abused in such a manner that Shadow has. I do not care to judge your ways of teaching. I do not care to judge the ways of the results. The warrior always has another way. I do not care to see my friends harmed any further.
I will not continue moments of training when you have dire circumstances. However, until he proves his training complete, he knew what he was in for.
Your training jeopardized our mission
I do not
to the
have
point where he was incapacitated and useless.
I do not have every piece of information.
I'm aware
someone
of
who
this.
seems all-knowing, you seem to not know
I've-
about a few key points, don't you?
I've never stated I'm all-knowing. I know a fair share. I
I
use
said
it
seemed.
to my advantage. That there are some things in which do fall beyond my purview.
Then what I would ask for future occurrences, because I know you will not stop unless you are stopped, is to ask before handicapping your apprentice and potentially putting his life in danger again.
I will, as you request, be more attentive.
Thank you.
This is not such a meeting. I'm not here to teach, discipline, or beguile you with answers of your wonders. I knew your destination and the message that would be sent my way. I sought to be here beforehand.
You do tend to pop up wherever we go, don't you?
Well, I am acutely aware one of you has a skill that sees things beyond sight. As he stares at Arya. Do you not?
Partially.
Have you not seen magical happenings with said such sight?
She'll raise an eyebrow.
Let me aid you in the going forth. If you wish to know if you're being spied on by individuals of arcane power or who have access to such things, be aware of floating eyes that you cannot see.
So my suspicion is correct.
Many can watch you. None of you walk around with the ability to disguise yourselves from arcane means. I'm sure your enemies beyond just me have had curiosity to watch in. I recommend your next large purchase not be bags or a fancy crossbow, as he stares at Elenan, but maybe a set of necklaces that hide you from spells of divining. Who knows, it may come in handy when you're hunting down creatures that aren't entirely forthright.
Once something clear comes out of your mouth,
Conversation past this point would be fruitless. He looks to Aloria.
True. I
one
have
question, actually.
Sure.
The Citadel of the White King and those who reside within it. Know you aught?
Most who find themselves in the company of nobles know who I am. At least a specific group. Others have an unfortunate knowing. Your hopeful friend, Lady Whitewater, is one that knows who I am. She ended up finding a journal her father left. I wish he wouldn't have written it down.
Secrets that shouldn't be known?
Some things are more powerful than you think.
I'm acutely aware of how powerful information is. Secrets in particular. They make and break everything in this world.
Soon you will find yourself in the center of one of the largest secrets in the West. Keep your eyes open. I must do paperwork. If you'd excuse me. He'll end up heading off down one of the hallways.
Well, I think that's definitely the first time I've had anyone actually stand up for me. I appreciate that.
We've all
Turn
taken too much
me in
abuse on
something.
this trip, Shadow.
Stolen would have walked out of his room and met up with the rest of the group by now.
Shadow, as someone who's bested me, you deserve some modicum of respect.
He's right, though. I do need to get better. I need to master this training. That way I can make my goals, our goals, become fruitful.
Or
It is
you
hard
could
to train with broken legs, Shadow.
you could abandon him altogether. After all, the Snake Clan is still an option for you.
I mean, if you're sitting in a chair, you could probably still work out your arms.
Stolen, not the time.
Stolen, imagine for a second being a fish without fins.
Then I'd just be a worm. Or
Now, how victorious is a worm and often?
then usually aren't. Usually they're on the wrong end of the hook.
Usually Shadow's on the wrong end of the receiving, is he not? You see the comparison now.
He was beaten up pretty bad in Auditore.
Exactly.
I know that I cannot stop your master's training. All I can do is at least make sure you're not useless to the team.
And I thank you for that.
He at least did give us some wise warnings.
Some good information, finally.
At this point, I would say we make it a point to speak with Elenan and myself's mother. Perhaps we can get some extra insight from the general.
Perhaps. There is another matter that I need to speak with you all about.
Yes.
During my
Alex.
search for Zack last night, I was directed to the Citadel of the White King.
The one we were
As I-
told not to bring Arya.
Exactly. It's the reason I told you, even if she was allowed in, she wouldn't want to go there, for obvious reasons. Even I, someone with no dark things attached to her, felt oppressed by the presence of that place. Even the knights themselves, walking through their own doors, were oppressed by some force.
Hmm.
When I was there, I was spoke to a guard while I was waiting for them to retrieve Zack. And he talked about the history of the Battle of Whitewater, how there was a lone warrior who stood upon the southern bridge. He was a warforged, like Adam and Eden. I told him about the warforged we met, and he found issue with it, considering that the warforged here was a gift from the Luxodon, and apparently the only one they ever knew about. At least, that's what I gathered. So it's strange that there are other warforged roaming around, let alone they're investigating the Black Citadel, which was the other point that seemed to pique their interest. Their archivist came out and met me, and he divulged something that I was not privy to before. The Black Citadel was a place of evil summoning. Orcs, demons, the like. That's where they came through. That's why it is feared. And something occurred to me as I was recounting our experience with the Citadel. As I turned to Arya, the tendrils that we saw circling, swirling around the citadel, rather, that you saw with your vision, do they not remind you of something else that you described to me? Rather, someone else.
Gil.
Exactly. I think you might be right. I believe Gil could be the Black King.
I'm at this point going to use see invisibility.
All right.
And I'm going to look around for what Master Hawk said. Any floating eyes?
Make me a perception check.
While she's doing that, oh, there it is.
Oh, fuck. Passive's 14 as well. Oh, fuck.
No.
While she's doing that, looking around, Falwa says, "It seems if we are going to get the mini conversations that need to be done, it's best for us to start now."
The Archivist would like to meet all of you. Though, of course, I believe we should leave Arya away from there.
I would not leave Arya alone, as she is the prime target. I would
Not
leave her
alone.
with an escort. Stolen. I would recommend that you'd be present.
I know my way around. I could help her. I have a job that needs to be done anyway. And actually, Toph, I have a job for you too.
Which is?
He'll pull out the baking flyer. Help wanted.
You wish me to become a baker?
Well, I think it'd be nice maybe if you want to get some more experience in a real kitchen. I mean, imagine they could always use the help. I'm sure that you could cook up something that they've never even thought of.
Speaking of, you were going to cook us something for breakfast.
Oh, perfect timing.
If we could find the kitchen.
Well, the one who did know walked away, so...
I'm pretty sure the rest of us would not talk to that individual.
No, I wasn't talking about him, I was talking about her.
She's also very busy.
Somewhat.
Well, I'm not
Sure.
very busy. You'll see the large Minotaur kind of standing there with a tiny book in his hands as he's looking at you.
Kitchen.
Down that hall, as he'll point to his right.
Thank
you. You're able to use whatever you want that's in there. Just try not to burn the kitchen down.
I'd like to think of myself as an aspiring professional.
I doubt you will. Just in case I gave fair warning. Sapphire is not one man that likes to see smoke coming from the castle.
Valwolf will, I guess, lead the group over to the kitchen, I guess.
I'll give a small bow to Menethel as they pass.
As everyone begins to leave, Aloria will kind of like snap her fingers and say, "That's what I forgot to ask him about. Fucking Sebastian."
You're looking for Sebastian? He's over at the court building. He'll gesture out that main door.
Thank you for the raid and welcome.
Could you tell me something? Do you know if this Sebastian you're referring to is in the possession of a paper or a set of notes written by a Cynthia Spellsong?
I don't recall anything by a spell song, though he does have a keen eye for arcane things.
If you wouldn't mind, would you lead me to him? I would like to ask him myself.
Aren't you getting breakfast?
Maybe he could join us.
I had my fill. I doubt your baker bakes with grass.
Storm looks over to Phil. Well, do you?
No, but I could use fruit.
In
What
any
fruit?
case,
It depends on what your kitchen has, I suppose.
I'll join you. You'll hear an audible from his gut.
if you wouldn't mind, might we grab Sebastian first?
Maybe he could join us as well.
I will send him a message to come midway through the meal. I doubt you would feel hungry after watching him eat.
Aloria is going to get a kind of a sly grin. Well, after watching this one as she elbows Felwolf, I think I can stand just about anything.
He'll
It's
look
like
at,
it's like slow turn, and there's like that tusky grin.
Aloria will return it with her sly one.
Minithel will just grin with his big fucking teeth as well. Just, I don't know why we're smiling.
Storm will start us.
Alright, well, I guess I'll go to the kitchen and get started. Well,
He'll pull out a rock from his pocket and talk into it.
I just imagined this whole time Neoma's just over there looking at his legs, just like,
They're tiny in comparison to his person, yes.
I'm just like, oh.
Oh my god. He skipped leg day.
This man is literally a walking triangle.
He's literally Johnny Awesome if he was a Minotaur.
That's awesome.
He does the book he does have looks very intricate. In the moments as he begins to follow you, he'll be glancing down and reading it as he slowly drifts to one side of the hall as he closes the book and walks straight once more. Eventually, you guys will find yourselves in a large dining hall with this massive kitchen that has no wall between. There are multiple ovens in there, what seem to be stoves with arcane runes on them, along with a large door into a piece of ice that you can see food stored in as you can see through this clear ice.
Well,
Here's the
is
kitchen.
as expected of a royal facility.
She got rid of the royal kitchen and made it into a community kitchen.
It used to be different.
Mm-hmm. I store my oats in that cabinet. As he points over, you can see this large set of doors up off the ground that literally have stamped onto it oats, Minithel.
Well,
Wow.
at least it's straightforward.
Well, be sure not to disturb them.
You'll watch him
No.
take a small thing of alfalfa from his pocket and just stick it into his mouth.
Come to think of it, where did you put all of our supplies, Val?
They were still in the car, were they not?
Yeah, would we have passed by it on the way
Bastion
inside?
had them move. They're in that pantry. As he points next to the large ice block, there is a door pressed into the wall. Your things are separated there. It should say Wolf Clan property.
All right. Will you be needing any help, Val?
It's best to let him.
No, I should have this. Alright, so I'll be sending the DM with what he's making.
Alright.
Oh boy.
This is going to be pretty four course meal here, so.
Alright. You can go ahead and give me the cooking utensils check. You will have advantage since you have a full kitchen.
Wahoo!
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Wahoo! An 18.
Yeah. It will take you a while as Foulwolf is essentially finding his way across the kitchen. You in such a manner you believe he has the wind stance running as he's moving across it constantly with great speed.
Nice.
There'll be many different smells coming out from different dishes, by the way.
As you're sitting there, as the room begins to get filled, eventually the individual known as Sebastian enters. They have a long, muted kind of pearlescent white robe on. At the sleeves end are these letters written in strange language and an almost arcane rune with this black and almost seafoam green color. As he enters into the room, seeing everybody sitting there, you weren't entirely missing on the fact that there were going to be a lot of people in attendance. Were you, Menethil? No. I appreciate your candor, friend. I truthfully doubt they are hungry enough to eat through my meal. But we will see.
I'm sure after he's done, we'll all have more than enough of our fill. You are Sebastian, yes?
Yes. I'm Sebastian.
Did you by chance procure a paper written by Cynthia Spellsong from Auditore recently? It was about the Black King Citadel, Babylon.
Yes, I did. Though, if you'd give me a moment, I would love to grab my meal.
Of course. I just wanted to make sure I had the right person.
So you can describe the, I guess.
Yeah. He will end up heading towards the ice block and entering into it. About this time, you will see Foulwolf pulling out a large assortment of platters, trays, and a large canister. As the aroma of baked bananas, caramel, bacon and sausage begins to fill your lungs, as warm oatmeal and blueberries are the final bits that actually are one of the last few things he ends up cooking, as he then brings out this assortment of a large chocolate banana cake, with caramelized plantains in it and on sprinkled atop, bacon biscuits and sausage gravy, along with blueberry oatmeal and blueberry syrup.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
God,
dying.
I think I covered the board a little bit for everybody.
If you were to serve your clan this, I think they'd overlook any kind of taboo regarding men cooking.
Please enjoy, my friends. We have a busy day.
Menethel will plop onto one of the benches at the long tables and just grab a bowl of the blueberry oatmeal and just slowly pull it towards him. Eventually, you'll see Sebastian return with this frosted jar and sit down next to Menethel.
What is that, if I may ask?
He'll pat and you can tell his eyes kind of meet the rest of the party. Should I tell her?
Harry gives a shrug.
Well, perhaps next time I might be able to prepare it in a more suitable fashion.
Elenan, you see a smug look come over Menethel as he's sitting there shoving oatmeal into his mouth, just with this big grin from that statement from Fel.
Someone's gonna grab a sausage and start eating it.
As he pops the lid off, Sebastian pops the lid off, you'll see him pull out a brain.
Loria's going
Someone
to.
stops eating.
Loria opens her mouth, begin like a squeak, like the tiniest of squeaks escapes her. She closes her mouth, kind of looks down at the table like, yeah, I probably should have expected that, and like kind of gives a nod, looks back to Sebastian.
You'll see him tuck under his robe a large napkin, like a large fucking bib, essentially, as he slides the brain underneath the overhanging tentacles, and you just hear this noise coming from
I actually do know a recipe that would go well with that.
Loria's just gonna turn to Fel with this look of like, what the fuck?
he'll raise his other hand in the air with a single finger up as he finishes, and you'll watch his bits occasionally drop down and impact the napkin. As he'll pick them off the napkin that's laying in his lap too, and pull them up, and eventually take the napkins, fold them neatly, and dab underneath the tentacles, his chin and whatnot, and clean himself up, and then place them gently down onto the table, and then grab the jar once more, tilting his head back and drinking the fluid that was in there.
Falf just keeps looking. He's like, there's actually a couple different sauces that go well with that type of flash.
I need Stolen, Aloria, Arya, Neoma, I'll give you Neoma, I'll give you advantage. Arya, you'll also have advantage. You've never seen this before. Felwolf,
Who else has advantage?
It's Neoma and Arya will have advantage. Arya, Felwolf
I mean,
won't
I
have
eat
to.
dreams. Like,
Yeah, Felwolf. I won't give it to Felwolf because you've viscerated people before. You've seen this kind of stuff in
that
combat.
and when you kill like a cattle, you're supposed to use all parts of it: heart, tongue, brain.
The
Alien
rest
in the
of you,
West.
however, I'll need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy.
Arya and Neoma with advantage, because Neoma, you've eaten like the occasional squirrel brain before, but you've just not looked at it. You didn't think of it that way, but watching this,
boy.
slightly disturbing.
I mean, you eat the whole thing.
God. 6.
Yeah,
So-
it's more along the way in which he did it.
God damn it.
a 1 and an 18.
Jesus Christ.
Well, we'll just strike up a conversation with them. Yeah, if you dice it up, you take some of this sauce and you fry it over a skillet while they're all vomiting.
Well, apparently, I'm the one that's going to
no,
be
it's-
vomiting. Everyone else is fine.
Everyone else is pretty much fine. Shadow, you've tortured people before. You haven't gone to the point of lobotomizing someone, but you've seen some like muscle tissue. It looked somewhat similar. You just imagined it was that and then looked away slightly. Like I'm not direct eye contact. As you continue to eat your breakfast, Minithel completely unfazed, just eating his oats and berries. Aloria, who purposely sat directly across to ask this man questions, just heaves into her sleeve under the table. As he finishes the jug, he drops it down and gives out a... Excuse me. It was a pleasure to have people sit and eat with for once.
Well, next time, as I said, if you come to me, perhaps I can spice it up for you.
Would enjoy that. I've to have the cemetery, but there's on ice. I don't feast upon the minds of the living anymore.
An honorable notion.
You know, I still have to talk to you.
I will remain seated until you can find yourself to continue eating breakfast.
I hadn't even started.
Well, at least you've made room.
Felwolf will have Ellen pull out a batch of that liquid she ate, as he'll pour everybody a small cup. Not enough to get drunk on, just enough to take
I'm
the
just
edge off.
taking a look at everything here. Yeah, everybody else fine. The only one that really had to look away was Shadow. He was just like, oh. Like maybe not the sausage today. The rest of it, definitely.
Felwolf thinking this is a challenge. He's like, if I could create a meal Mind Flayer would like,
Yeah.
I would be unchallengeable.
Man's over here thinking about Jello brains right now. Like,
Is the sausage spicy, by the way?
If you requested it to be spicy.
Yes, extra spicy.
Well, knowing you, yeah, he's trying. That's one of his current missions right now, is to try to get you to taste.
burning is a taste that you can have.
It's not going to be burning. It's not like he put fucking ghost peppers in the fucking thing. But he would have used chilies on hand to spice up Arya's dish.
How does it taste? I imagine it would still taste partially of ash.
It will have ash-like taste, but there are hints of for the cinnamon. You will taste the cinnamon, though nothing else in it. The berries taste like ash. The sugar tastes like ash. The you can taste honey, though it's a waxy taste, like eating or having salt candies.
Ooh, that actually might be good.
And then for another thing you're able to taste is spice. As it burns, it does give a sense of like a very undertone taste of what the actual meal would taste like. So no matter like you need to put in a lot of spice to get that undertone taste.
Yeah.
Or be creative with it to sneak past the ash.
Yeah.
Have you told him that's what you taste?
I will start pointing out, oh yeah, this one tastes good, and the honey tastes good, and the sausages really taste good.
It's easy to counteract other tastes. So if it's simply the taste of ash that's getting over it, that's something relatively easy to overcome.
It's the fact that plants,
everything I eat,
it's like most plants, and every meat just tastes like ash. It's not like something you can overcome. That's just how her taste buds find it. There are certain spices that and certain things that you can put on top meals that do come through, but they are the aspects in which you don't normally taste in that food. Like when you have honey, you don't really taste the wax, you taste the sugar. But
she doesn't taste sugar.
She doesn't taste the sugar. She tastes the wax, which actually gives a flavor different from ash, which means, oh god, this is special. This is much better. It's like eating. It's like eating one flavor your entire life and then having something ever so subtly different.
Yeah, she has had basically ash food for her entire life.
Olaf has one dish in mind currently he thinks can counteract the spice. So she stated just now she was able to taste the dish because of specific reason.
Yeah, spice. Enough of it will allow the
spice or salt is what you're saying.
Yeah, spice would allows her tongue to find actual taste of the food, because it does certain things to the taste buds and makes them hypersensitive. And then she's able to taste like a very muted flavor underneath that.
It's kind of like the same reasoning behind wine tasting. When you have something spicy, your wine usually tastes sweet. If you have something sweet, your wine tastes a little bit drier and whatnot. So,
like I said, I technically have a way to overcome that based on what I was just told it'll work. Which this is going to be something Felwolf would have been cooking up for a while.
Okay.
Trying to overcome that taste bud of hers, because that's something he wants her to enjoy finally is eating.
Right. How are you doing this?
I'm going to type it to you real quick.
All right.
Ooh.
On, shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking silence, heretic. Alright, while Fel's doing that, Laura's going to kind of reorient herself. Okay. So the paper. Have you read
What
over
paper?
it? The one from written by Cynthia Spellsong, the one about Babylon.
Yes, sorry. Many voices.
Understandable. What did it contain exactly? Like, what parts of Babylon did it talk about?
Many suggested bits. The writer's spell song ended up having a very long stay with the Anubai. She ended up finding a way to communicate with them long enough to build a story of their history. Apparently, the Anubai lived in what is now the Badlands, long before the Black King appeared. They speak of stories, different ones, depending on the tribe of Anubai, but all of them come to a small bit of conclusion or similarities. As there's a bit of coincidences in finding a certain individual. The name of this individual, they dare not speak even to each other. So it's not known what their true name is. So Spellsong was unable to gain such information. But what Spellsong was able to... He'll hold his hand up to his mouth for a moment. Sorry. Bad memories.
I sent it to you, by the way.
Alright.
Wait, memories? Your memories?
No, the brains.
Oh,
As... sorry. As Spellsong found their way to the desert, they themselves never found the citadel. They came upon a large pyramid structure, some ways east in the Badlands. At this point, most of Spellsong's party has died to roaming tribes of barbaric individuals. As he'll have his head slightly down as he gestures his head towards Fel, ever so slightly. The final bits into her journal of the story that she was told more often than others. We blame ourselves, for we were foolhardy to believe the gods would not challenge our humbleness. We brought him upon ourselves. As he promised many things, brought better crops to our fields, gave us stories of a world long gone, story so unsung the gods struck it from the world. We blame ourselves for what our home has now become. Or this was our fault. Now he has the strength, as we've nursed him. And what should never have what it once did, now walks once more. He built his shrine in the east, a pyramid unlike any other. He called it a tomb for the gods, a citadel of black. And it led there, a gate of Babylon, a blue archway. And on it, every language. Inscribed with a name where the gods will be buried. Babylon.
It's a tomb, not a gateway. So this, I'm assuming this he that she keeps referring to is the Black King himself, right? At least that's what's safe to be assumed.
What she assumed. Oh, there's no proof. They did not refer to this individual by any given name, just he. They.
This individual, the stories that the Anubai told her, he gave them good crops. And
Wait a minute, I have
And?
something. Hang on.
What is it,
I
Shadow?
dig in my bag and pull out some old papers. I remember this arch. I wrote down a lot of what was on this arch, and I pull the papers over and I spread them out on the table. These are what you're talking about, are they not?
Those appear to be scribblings of every language, though my understanding, they are all dating. What I suspect that you cannot read there is Babylon,
Most assuredly.
because that, as he points to one, is abyssal. That is celestial, vernal, undercommon. For every language.
The only ones I could read were Common, Draconic, Orcish, Elven, and Anubai.
They're all on there. You've found this archway.
We've seen Babylon.
Turn his head towards you and look. Seen it.
We've stood in front of it. Where do you think I got these sketchings?
I even stood in it
suspected
for a
that
little bit.
Well, remember, Shadow, that archway was outside of the dome. Anyone could see that archway. But the citadel itself,
I suspected there to be ruins. Spell Song's paper was found by traveling merchants. It was in the desert. No one's body. Nothing nearby.
roughly how long ago did Spellsong go missing?
I recall the last time I saw her 40 years ago.
That long ago. It's a wonder that her paper remained intact.
No, they found it. The date last scribbled on was... it had only 3 days. The last entry. That's when they found it.
3 days from...
When she last wrote about a massive pyramid she found to the east. I suspect after that she headed further east in hopes to find a pyramid unlike any other pyramid.
Shadow remembering back, clenches his fist. Oh, that pyramid.
Maybe she got there. Maybe she saw it. Who knows?
We did see a pyramid, one of the Anubi's structures, but it was...
A proper translation for pyramid, unlike any other pyramid, would be a massive megastructure, like that of the chapel across the way.
And that would describe the citadel.
Stone will sit as Jade.
I'm curious. Do you have a way to look into someone's mind without harming them?
Easy. Memory strings.
Laura will lean forward. See mine.
He'll take his hand and press a finger towards your temple, and everyone else, you'll see this bright string that comes out of her head, about 4 to 5 inches in length. So pull it straight. Coil it. And then consume it. About this point, you'll hear, against the silent moments, a clatter of a dish against the table, as in front of Arya, Felwolf places another dish. On it sits a series of grilled pieces of chicken with a single stick through them, holding them together, sitting in what seems to be a small broth of brown liquid. Shadow, your what was that arcana for, by the way?
Looking at what he's doing, I was trying to figure it out. It was a very low chance to begin with, but I figured I would attempt.
All right, that's fine. Shadow, as you're sitting there near Arya, sitting there near Arya, the extreme amount of heat, not just warmth, but like heat from food, the spice, fills your nose almost immediately.
Whew.
As you blink it away somewhat, as proudly Felwolf is leaning onto the table with both hands and staring at the plate, and then up at Arya, and then back down at the plate.
Try this.
Oh.
She'll gladly take one and try it.
Shadow could definitely smell that from there.
Fel, that is excessively potent. Darn near killing me without even eating it. Oh.
You will be able to taste this, as this is a form of spicy Zhao chicken. With soy sauce
exactly
and
what that is.
with soy sauce and a sweet, almost teriyaki style of sugar to it, with an intense amount of peppers.
Whoa.
The somewhat thin, slightly waxy sauce that it's sitting in that rests in this somewhat the saucer a little is what contains a lot of that spice. As you bite into a little bit of it, that does seem that may begin to seem as it drifts some of that ash in, dipping it into that thick broth-like substance at the bottom of it, brings back that heat as you're able to taste it.
She is eating very slowly, and
Felix just has like this grin,
smiling
slowly
the
takes his
entire
face.
time.
As you
On
look,
the other
as
side,
you look
Shadow's
up,
looking with concern as how much heat is on that.
as you look up at Felwolf, his eyes are red as he was sitting there making it. It was the heat itself also burning his face and his,
my God.
eyes, and he's sitting there like face strained to prevent his eyes from watering so he can stare at her eating this and just take the moment in. Like this rage smile, this
So proud.
A single tear attempts to leave, and he sucks it right back in.
yeah, essentially this aggressive attempt not to cry and to smile with joy just looks like he's been constipated for a few days.
I just have like that. He kind of like leans back up. He does like that fist pump downwards as he closes his eyes. Tears come down.
He finally lets his eyes have relief as she does say that she could taste it and that it's good. He's like,
This is delicious. Oh my goodness. This is what chicken tastes like?
Yes,
Yes.
that's what my chicken tastes like.
Thank you, Phil.
I think I'll stick to the pork.
After a few moments of kind of seeing his eyes wander back and forth, you'll see Sebastian lower his head slightly. There's a lot I have questions about. Most importantly, whatever magic bars it from being seen in many other ways. Though I did witness your interactions with the space it resides in, I could not see the building. Your memory may be intact, but there's no arcane means for me to provide myself imagery.
So, my thoughts alone aren't enough to give you a clear image?
Maybe if you do it. I doubt anything other than physical means may be possible. Even if you conjured up a small illusion trying to make the facility to scale, it would probably be to no avail.
Well, I could attempt to give it a try. Shadow will think long and hard about the way the structure looked and attempt to make a sketch of it.
All right. We could pair that with a history and a performance check.
Which one do you want first?
History. See how well you remember it. You're confident you remember it. Give me a performance check.
Ah, yes. Really
Of
low
course.
rolls. Here we go.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm getting my low
Yes.
rolls out today.
Do we
Absolutely
have
not.
someone with who can conjure minor illusions?
As Quill meets paid, meets parchment, he makes a half circle. And then just kind of goes, I don't know. That's about all I got.
I remember it having a dome. I don't know. I can't seem to remember the rest.
Are you sure you're not thinking of a rainbow?
No, it was definitely a dome of sorts. Shadow Ghost.
Aloria's going to take the
with
paper
all
and
of
quill.
its spice in the air.
Aloria's going to take the quill and paper, and I'm going to attempt
Yeah.
to draw it.
He's probably starting to cry at this point. How spicy this stuff
he
is.
is crying as he sits there like trying to cover his nose and keep his eyes closed. There are tears going down the side, just as just reaction to the spice.
Take a walk. I'll be back. As he gets
Tears of happiness.
Oh, Aloria, would you like some?
I think I'm fine, thank you.
Can I try
Stolen,
some
do you
of
want
the
to try
sauce?
it? Oh,
Yeah.
go for it.
Everyone's sitting there, other than Arya, as you're sitting there, you can hear her stomach go.
Oh boy.
She just doesn't seem to notice. She's just overly excited that she can taste.
Felwolf,
Yes.
would you mind coming over here? I'm gonna try and draw the Black Citadel from memory. If you could assist me, that would be great.
Well, I'm not much of an artist, but I can do what I can.
I just want to make sure
I mean-
it's as accurate as possible.
True,
Okay.
we did see it twice, so.
And I will, with the help of Felwolf, attempt to draw the Citadel.
All right, if he's helping you recall, roll me history with advantage.
Okay. Now watch this drive. Woo! 21.
You
Nice.
recall what it's supposed to look like. Let's see how well it comes out. Give me that performance check.
At normal?
At normal, he ain't helping you draw. You asked him to help
Oh,
you
boy.
remember what it looked like.
This is gonna be.
I am the history guy.
awesome. Fucking 15.
It comes out in roughly the shape that you remember. A tall spire in the center with other spires, a dome, an archway in front of it, a courtyard. You can make these things out, though it's not an incredible detail. It's a general shape.
Not much of an artist, but this is generally what it looked like.
I've never seen beyond your skills. Never seen architecture like this before.
Well, according to every legend, this place is ancient beyond ancient.
There are most many buildings that don't reach up towards the heavens in any regard such as that. So, even with magics today. This dome, what's its significance?
The dome is.
So,
It
I
is
saw
a
that some were
cave.
able to pass through whatever this dome in your in the conversations you had was, but other than that, what was inside of it?
Well, the Citadel, for one, the entire thing was within the dome. Aside from that, there were 4 individuals. I'm going to point towards like the entrance of the Citadel that looked like they were walking up towards the entrance, but frozen in time. Everything within that dome was frozen in time, except
yeah.
for a dryad that seemed to be within it. It moved freely.
Right.
When one of the Warforged tried to pull a squirrel out from the dome, it disintegrated in his hand. But when they caused some kind of minor damage to these crystals, and she points at the crystals by the archway, the dome seemed to shrink, and any kind of life, plant-based mostly, that was outside the dome at that point remained. So nothing can be forcibly removed. At least that was there when the dome was placed, because Stolen, and she'll point over to Stolen, was in the dome. I don't know how he got there, but he disappeared in the middle of the night and ended up inside. Arya managed to pull him out, and he was fine.
Magic seems to be able to pass through the dome without issue. Mostly how we were able to get him out.
You've heard of anything?
There were the
like-
warriors inside as well.
I did mention them.
What kind of warriors?
Well, if I recall correctly, they seemed to be from an ancient Whitewater. It was
Well, not
very
just
similar.
ancient Whitewater, every kingdom, really.
Yes, the symbols, their standards rather, they were familiar but still altogether different. Very reminiscent of the Western kingdoms.
Whitewater's been around for a while, though. Its name was not always Whitewater. Very many people know this, but King Whitewater's mother hails from a different kingdom. She's still alive. Technically, by all intents and purposes, she would be the ruler of this kingdom, if not already a ruler of another.
Where is she from?
She is from an island just off the northern shores of the Western Kingdoms. I would surmise many of you aren't aware of Arisia.
Ah, I did read about them.
I don't think I've ever heard the name, have I?
Make a history check.
Stone rule history check too.
Sure, go ahead.
15.
You've heard of the name before, though you don't really know anything about it.
I remember reading that they joined the war, but didn't really do anything, if I remember correctly.
I ask of you that this not leave the castle. As you'll see him cast a spell. Trying to make sure. Beowulf, as he casts this spell, you will immediately feel a slight a disconnect, not a disattunement, a disconnect between you and your sword.
Has he ever experienced this before?
No.
He's gonna be worried. He grabs his sword.
It's an anti-magic field. It's temporary. He'll come back. He'll come back. Your blades, magics, your items. The magic will come back. Prevents prying eyes. These sorts of magics are developed in Arisia. Launch machines, craft to fly through the air like the Lagillon do from the Empire. That kingdom is of the brightest minds. They married into a noble family that hailed from Old Whitewater. This is what we can call it for now. To guarantee secret dealings between them and the Lagillon.
The Lagillon are affiliated with Arisia?
No, they're not. They're not affiliated with Lagillon at all.
Oh. It's to compete with them.
They are the only ones that have ships that fly through the skies. Figuratively and literally can hold a gun to any kingdom without repercussion. They make warriors that can be endless and can go on forever.
A Warforged.
A Warforged. Sapphire is one of those. It's proof.
You think the other two, the ones we saw at Babylon, do you think they came from the Lagillon?
I don't know.
If
The behavior was quite erratic. I don't, from your memories, don't have enough to base a reliable hypothesis on.
Well, then how about we put it this way? Is Babylon, the Citadel of the Black King, worth the kind of investigation that it would take for the Luxodon? Would it be worth it to them?
Are you aware of the history of the Black King?
Most of what I know came from the retellings of my circle, and most of what the folk tales tell as well, that the Black King used to be a benevolent being, but then was corrupted or simply turned malevolent one day. And because of this, his land died, and the Western Kingdoms turned against him.
There's a story. It's better in tale with spell songs, experience, and theories. If you care, I would enlighten you of the story if you all are willing. I wish not to hold up your time in Whitewater if you've come for many other reasons.
Lord's going to turn to everyone kind of with an expectant look.
Speaking with you is never a waste of time, Spell.
Alright, gives a nod. It's a story I'd like to hear.
We're just going to turn to Fel.
Cooking.
He is in the kitchen once more.
Ah. Well,
You're going to be here for a bit longer then. Makes sense. In many moons past, Badlands was supposedly very once a rich place. Place of kings, nobles of many kinds. A place of ancient magics. Though there is a bit of strangeness to this. Confirmed by some bits of entries. A journal found by Lady Whitewater. The following is believed to be true. At least here in this noble court. When many moons passed, a great land to the south once existed. Even a land of unimaginable magics. A world so unlike our own, you'd view it as a land of gods. Luscious fields graced the land. Massive valleys, high peaks of mountains. Peaceful people living as neighbors in the sky, on land, and in sea. Though it was all not for perfect harmony. No, it was too perfect. Many people began to find themselves questioning purposes, reasons for why things are. Push doors that weren't meant to open. monsters were made. An attempt at learning how life is made. The first creature born with these magics, destined to end all things on Itis. What we today refer to as the Tarask was born. First of many great omens, the gods saw the end of their wonderful creation coming to an end, coming sooner than anticipated. So they sought to delay that. Who, what, whom created this monster that would bring about the end of the beautiful world? No story can tell. The land that was once that now is the Badlands was punished. Or so it's stated. The world was shattered in some regard as a mark of a time in which the skies were blotted out in color. And then darkness. Floating cities fell. Rivers changed course. The world turned and twisted in turmoil and agony. Until days later, as if nothing happened. No one was able to truthfully think of what happened in those days. That's where those notes end, and where the Black King begins. The stories of an individual bringing back good crops to the people of Anubai, or the Anubai people. Bringing back something that should have never walked, that has once walked, and does again. Maybe the Black King in this instance isn't just a person, but an idea. It's hard to tell. They refer to an entity, something tangible. In this entity's rise, the West begins to take note. The oldest writings of this, of a journal found tossed off a balcony by the Eternal King of Ograsuk. This is what follows. And so war came. Oh, how I loved it. Makes me wish for better days. Those zealous in the south, maybe they're not bad. The war found its way to our doorstep. Mountains of flesh and bone writhe and turn upon a pile of bodies smaller than an ant. The creature rumor rose once more, and the armies turned. hell. The dead, others, roamed with them. Thus became the first accounts of orcs, tieflings, other goblinoids, creatures not from this place. First time they were sighted, the first time the dead rose, the first time the hells opened its toothy maw and ripped apart the flesh from Itis. All at the beck and call of a clad black king. An isle of heavenly light, as the journal continued. Heeded our voices, theirs most likely. To drive back the dark forces brought in, assaulting the walls of our angelic fortress, our heaven on earth. As the gods intervened, once again, as it seems to put down a force of their own making. And so the Black King was driven back from the west, back to the Badlands, and all the way to a citadel. From this point on, all else is speculation. Though one thing is known, a great siege was laid to a building far east, to a place so far removed that the world itself gave up giving it life. And so from that point on, is what is known history. The Badlands turned unfertile. Orcs and other creatures from other planes are now here. Black King was real, to some degree. A place of an individual so powerful, they summoned the armies of dead, hell, and those of other places. You tell me who would not seek the place in which they sat. Who, upon hearing these words, would not hunt down a throne so powerful? It drove the gods to act. Even rumored, a fraction of that power would sway borders. A fraction of that power would win wars.
Or that should be purged from this world. If all of what you say is true, these accounts that have been recovered, then it lines up. All of it. Everything that I have been tormenting myself with. The Black King is back. He's been in my head. Son of a bitch!
Paladins believe the Black King is a dark god, bestowing otherworldly blessings upon individuals that show great promise. Though honestly, it's very subjective. They would also like my head as well. So that feeling, it's a bit mute.
One of our number has already been approached by him with such a prospect.
I've brought more cake.
Lovely.
A prospect which was swiftly denied, I will assure you. Laura's just gonna pinch the bridge of her nose.
Well, I have no room to speak about gods. For I am of such other. Nor did gods bring me here, and nor did the Black King. Maybe there's more to the story than what visions others have. The rantings of a mad king, the notes taken by, honestly, an amateur archaeologist, and the cobblation of stories of a civilization long since dwindled to dust.
I've seen the remnants of that civilization. They were annihilated. By individuals who followed the lead of one of the Black King's very servants.
I know not what specific details you mention.
Gloria is going to tap her temple again. See for yourself. As she's going to bring the Clan Oda and the Platinum Katana to the forefront of her mind.
Can't. Anti-magic field. Can't make magic in here.
I forgot about it.
It's actually why we're here, so we'll be talking about that later, I suppose.
Didn't want to believe it. I wanted to believe that's... There was even the slightest possibility that it was okay. But of course it wasn't.
I did say that answers tend to come to us.
Trouble seems to follow us too.
It's best for us to react and deal with what's in front of us.
Well, I believe this is now something that is in front of us. Whether we like it or not.
Not at the moment.
I agree with Arya. Just because it's presented itself doesn't mean we have the ability to confront it.
Maybe one day, but not at the moment.
To rush headlong into a battle ill-prepared invites only defeat.
That said, I will give a few things that I did see the first time around. The warriors that were in the courtyard. One of them was dressed in white and black checkers. And there was another one dressed in golden armor with a hammer. Do you know which kingdoms these might be?
Arch stepped away for a moment. Yeah,
Oh yeah, he did.
he stepped away.
Neoma,
Hmm.
you want to fuck up a bird?
Oh hell yeah!
You got this bounty for an aggressive bird somewhere in town. I say we take it down.
I'm so in.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
Fuck birds.
Stalin, did you want to try this?
Oh yeah. And then someone's gonna take a sausage and he's gonna
Oh no.
dip it in the. He's gonna. He's gone through things like this before. Obviously, you know he's not gonna.
Yeah.
He's gonna dip a little bit into the sauce and he's gonna try it.
Oh boy.
We'll see how that works out. when
We'll
Arch
see
comes
how that
back.
happens.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to roll for that one.
Ah,
Or, yeah, either it's gonna be real good or good.
I think the only one that actually might be able to get away with it would be Shadow.
perhaps.
Maybe.
I mean, he was already tortured enough just in the room with it, you know.
Yeah.
Understand? He's Beastkin, man. He's got keener senses elsewhere.
Yeah.
True.
At this point, Fell Wolf will be like, now I can move on to a mind flare now that I've conquered Aria's taste buds.
Good enough. You'll be feeding dragons.
I wonder, could I make a dish hot enough to make a dragon panic?
I'd like to see that. But still, am I the only one that's concerned about the connection the Platinum Katana has to Yoda and to the Black King?
I had already drawn that connection some time ago. I just simply don't worry about it.
Exactly. As Fel said, if you wonder about things that might not have happened yet, then it's almost just a waste of time.
It's a waste of energy. The fact is, we have no ability to act on it. We have no collection of information to base judgment or to prove it's even plausible, let alone from the magical contraptions of what is. We cannot spur kingdoms into movement off of that. So, like I said to Arya last night, best to focus on what we can interact with, what we can push forward, deal with what's in front of us. Just because we have the ability to do so doesn't mean right course of action.
Dawn may need some context of what the Platinum Katana is.
Platinum Katana. I'm thinking he's been no, the Platinum Katana, Don, he was a warrior that and he's an ancient warrior that we've I say we, more like Fel's father faced off against earlier in the campaign.
Yeah.
He's incredibly powerful. He ended up killing Felwolf's father.
Yeah, this giant Goku Vegeta battle in the sky.
It was fucking
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
We killed his dog though, so
His dragon. But yeah, he was taken away by the character Gil, who apparently seemed to the Platinum Katana seemed to recognize. So we're assuming, also based on information given to us by a character called the Cherry Blossom Samurai, who had fought the Platinum Katana previously, we believe him to be a servant of the Black King. Which now we have a more what's the right word? I guess backed suspicion that Gil could be the Black King. But That's still just a suspicion. So yeah, a little bit of a lore crunch for you.
Yeah, we bully the dragon by calling it a dog too. So
It was funny.
And Skyfish.
That was so
and
good.
Skyfish, yeah.
It
That's
ate
great.
me. It fucking ate me.
Yeah. And it turned invisible. So.
Yeah, it ate Aloria and turned invisible. I almost died that
It
day.
was an
Terrifying.
ethereal dragon.
Yeah.
And
Very
to
cool.
give him the rest of the lore, Fellow's getting a fucking sword made out of it.
Getting a sword made out of the shards. He's getting a sword made out of the broken shards of the Platinum Katana's katana.
Yep.
Mixed
Yeah.
with dragon parts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Arch. While you were gone, Stolen had some of the spicy sauce.
Maybe
Yeah.
Constitution saving there with disadvantage.
Yeah!
I did go lightly with it.
Oh,
He dipped
then
it. He
then
dipped
not
the sausage.
I did.
then not
I-
disadvantage.
okay.
Not disadvantage.
A what again? Sorry.
Constitution saving throw.
Gotcha.
We will see, Don. The sword hasn't been made yet. It's just been requisitioned. Please tell me just that
That'll
one.
be a fail.
Oh!
Your
Technically, Aloria, the sword could potentially be made. It's been months traveling.
It actually might already be made. He said a season.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been
Yeah.
a
We-
season.
I mean, it's coming up on winter.
It's for sure gonna be done when we get there. We don't know
Yeah.
if it is yet.
It is winter. You guys would know that. It is winter.
Yeah. I mean, snow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's kinda
your
something we
face
can't
kind of
just drop
turns.
and do.
Your face kind of turns purple as the blood rushes to your face from the heat.
I've never needed water more than right now.
You do have alcohol right in front of you. You can try that.
He's just gonna down the
That
jade.
Yes.
Another Constitution
Yes.
saving throw.
Yeah.
this is gonna be so bad. Oh, 24.
Not bad.
Yeah, you
I can
fine.
hold my liquor, not my sausage.
Yeah.
Don,
Wow.
hydrate.
There you go.
Don,
I think you have more experience than the other.
Yeah. Let's see here. Sorry. I am back. You guys were wanting to say something to Sebastian?
Oh, I was just gonna tell him we did see the armor of the warriors that were inside the citadel. One was a golden armored individual with a hammer, and the other wore white and black checkers.
Yeah. White and black checkers. More than likely, Okrasuk. The gold, I'm not entirely sure.
Warriors from Okrasuk journeyed that far?
I mean, there was dwarves there too, so
The
I'm not surprised.
Eternal King is strange in his behavior.
Tell me
Take
about
it
it.
lightly.
I used to live on the border. I've heard the stories.
He's called the Eternal King for a reason. Supposedly in dwarven tales, even when they arrived, the humans, halflings, the others from the north, from the island of Ariza, the Eternal King was already in Okrasuk. The supposed dwarven tales say. But not long after that, the dwarves moved from the western kingdoms, far to the north in the frozen hellscape, into the mountains there. It was after those events, supposedly sometime between The Black King invaded the Western Kingdoms. Wells has been king long before then. Long before there were people in Okrasuk to rule over. Supposedly.
Dwarves love their stories.
But when somebody lives in a land in which no one should be living in, they must have been there before. So roughly I can guarantee the same king of Okrasuk has been there for tens of thousands of years.
Even if we were to eventually gain an audience with him, I don't know I could get much out of him regarding the ancient history of the Black King.
Oh, he'll get more out of you. It's not uncommon for someone to be disemboweled at a whim.
I believe it.
It's surprising how many times he's married.
Well, when you have the opportunity to seize this kind of power, many take it, regardless of the risk.
Strange things happen far west.
Strangest for some of us.
Have you ever heard the tale? Have any of you ever seen the walls of Ilia?
I don't. Am I? What the fuck? Am I familiar with that?
Roll of
Would I
history.
be? Let's go.
Yeah, the name doesn't sound familiar. So I'm gonna try to remember that too.
Yeah, he did ask all of us.
11. This is going great. 9.
We got the same roll.
Alright. Arya, you've never seen them, but something about the walls of Aelia sounds familiar. In the story I told you this, there was a point in which it said that they're at the walls, if you recall. Those
Right.
walls were the walls of Aelia, kingdom far to the west south of Okrasuk. Reference them. Those zealots to the south.
Right.
Kingdom of godly men and women. Paladins, clerics, priests. Living in a place like heaven on earth. One thing tells you the true nature of Aelia before you enter. Above its sterling gates is outstretched the body of a titan. Remember the part of the story in which it said bodies twisted in agony upon piles of others like ants?
Yes.
Ancient times roamed titans, beings of great power. Not myth, but true legend, for none roam any longer.
So this Aelia slew one and set it as a trophy.
Aelia's walls, the last holding point, other than the swamp marshes of Okrasuk, the West had in their war against the Black King, before an ancient monster rose once more Many suspect it to be the Taras. The suspected monster supposedly made by the Black King woke, causing its master problems once more. Then turned the tides on the front line. Gods then intervened. You can see why Okrasuk and Aelia seem so vastly different, though they are neighbors. Land of dark, twisted soil and marshes, trees replaced by mushrooms. An ever-present cloudy day, and never-present sun of Roai. And to the south, the exact opposite. The nights there always graced in beautiful, pale moonlight. The reflection of Megzil never graces or defiles the land of Aelia. And every day is cloudless until the plants require rain. Lands cursed and blessed by gods, or both blessed in their own way. The East is mysterious because it's thought to have fended off whatever monstrous creature the Black King once was. But these two places held it off as well. No other seemed to stop the calamity that was the rumored war. You think an entity like that, able to conquer most, if not all, of the Western kingdoms, would really be somebody you wouldn't go without noticing? Regardless, it's superstition, rumors, and honestly, without any proof. But it's fun to have breakfast stories.
Well,
As you'll see, the small bulb of flesh holding up the tendrils kind of flex slightly with a smile, somewhat able to be seen underneath.
there is,
Smile back.
as long as we have this filled up, there is something I would tell you about that I did not tell the individuals at the Citadel of the White King. Anywhere within your research on the Black King and this calamity, in this ancient history, does the name of Gil ever appear anywhere?
No. Nowhere. Names are rarely ever mentioned in history, because they perceive that the individual will be remembered forever if they are of great power or importance, or to be feared. Makes sense for the time.
Laura is going to kind of lean back, rest kind of place a hand under her chin. Arya,
Yes.
describe to him what you saw, both at the Black Citadel And when you saw Gil.
Arch, do you want me to describe it, or?
Now, do you describe it though?
Yeah, I do.
He'll sit there, and as you begin to describe, he'll pay attention intently.
I love that you're DMing from 3 miles away, Arch.
I'm grabbing my soda, slice of pizza, cool your jets. Go boy, go better.
On aggro.
Alright, sorry.
The Overgod's currently dealing with the Undergod at the moment.
The Archlord is dealing with the Archprince. Alright. Sorry. What you described there seems more like the cacophony of colors that filled the night sky for a few days that made all magics vanish.
Vanish?
Did you not listen to the story? Floating kingdoms fell from the sky. Levitation
Right.
magic.
Right. Apologies, a lot of things are going through my head right now. I don't have quite the organized intellect that you have.
There's many minds in mine. Think of it more like an orchestra without a conductor, if I'm not paying attention.
Yet you can still remember things verbatim.
I need only to find more than one voice that speaks the same. They've been around for a long time. Many minds have been tasteful upon these lips.
I will not argue with that. So... though this individual is of the same ken as what made everything go to shit.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe a byproduct. I mean, under some circumstances, maybe that creature was born during that time. I mean, look at me. My kind would believe certain gods are giant balls of tentacles and masses of flesh, with eyes and gnashing maws that seek out to eat and consume all things in existence. There are very more crazier things out there than a colorful man with tentacles sticking out his back.
I am inclined to agree. Seems like crazy is the new norm.
We do deal in abnormalities. Crazy seems a bit mundane. And plus, if this was only from a vision of a cleric, clergy members, maybe its visage was pushed upon you by your god. Ever have visages pushed into your mind by your deity? It's very common, I hear.
A few times.
What makes you think they don't shape your living visions?
I suppose that Idona could. At the same time, she's also given me my memories.
You don't have to believe me in my words. I mean, I was sent here by a dangerous creature to consume all things that live. But I think gods are no different than ancient monsters of abnormal and strange power. They have a will, a desire, they have goals. These entities are unable to act within this realm. So what makes it any different if they attempt to make those that wish be guided by them? Do as they wish. I chose to break free of mine. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I mean, thousands of my brothers and sisters were hatched out of the mouths of Yankee. So, what am I to say?
Regardless of how true or untrue any of what you told me was, I appreciate the history lesson. It's given me new angles to think from.
Ooh, the history in which I spoke of is what's accepted in this noble house. Do not take what I told you verbatim as truth. Spellsong left this noble house to find information. She failed in accomplishing the retelling of what she discovered. Upon his journeys, King Alexander wrote scribbles on what he heard and saw. Failed to get the entire picture across. None of these pieces complete a puzzle, nor do all of them direct towards the same picture. This is a mind flayer's attempt of divining through multiple minds a possibility that's more than likely anything else. But we have guests. It's fated, as he points around. For a few moments, Felwolf, you get that connection. You've had that connection back with your blade. I've received a message that was apparently in dire straits for me to hear. Other companions of the royal court has arrived. I believe you would all be so very eager to meet some of them. One of you already had an interest, from what I hear. The Dragon Rider.
Scaled nations, I assume?
No.
I won't take his wonderful stories from him. They're a pleasant bunch, and I'm sure that one will give you a great run for your organs. Don't let the dragon know you feel bad for it. Minithil, we have guests. You see him now putting down his fourth bowl of berries and oatmeal. Oh, greet him. Thank you. I must return to the Senate. I am the noble representative. Probably the only one able to make sense of what everybody's yelling about, too. So.
There is one more thing I could impose upon you. I would like to have the writings of Spellsong, if that would be all right.
I cannot part from them.
I understand. I thought I'd ask.
The last thing I have left of her.
You knew her?
Yes.
A friend, I would assume, then.
Unfortunately, that's all that was left. Yet to be able to grow. Kind people find their way here. Good people. Remember that. I mean, you all found your way here. Stand up. I must go before Donovan rips off Trevor's head. If I wait, I might have a neck. No, never mind. If you excuse me.
Stone will stand up and do a small bow. It was great to speak with you again, Sebastian. Especially compared to circumstances from last time.
Have you visited?
Not in a while.
I'd recommend that you do. There are some things that have changed. I do know that you would be excited to hear that Levanti is the new admiral of the Navy.
Really?
Indeed. Never forget a face. Full names. Truthfully, anything. Not.
Sometimes I wish I could do that.
There are its advantages and drawbacks. Like if your species entirely designed to consume the minds of creatures and then read the memories and personalities and never be able to forget them, even the moment of death. As he just stares at you and turns his head slightly. Sorry.
Well, maybe when all is said and done and we finally crack this mystery.
Well, if you
Maybe
crack
I'll
this
give you my-
mystery, you'll be heroes, unknown, or whatever. Trust me. You will have so much better things to do if you've accomplished such great things. Saving the world's no small feat. A hero died saving a small fraction of it. Go save your friend's home. Focus on that. Save it small bits at a time.
One question. When you saw my memories, was it everything or was it just what I intended to give?
Let you ponder on that. Namaste.
Hey, look.
As he just kind
I would
of
like to.
scuttles off.
Hey!
You did offer.
I fucking love that guy.
That's gonna be where we end this week's episode. That is roughly 7 hours. If you take into account the last one, we took break around 3 hours and 30 minutes in. We're hitting about that same mark on this one. That's gonna be the end for episode 31, The Calling. As it seems a lot of individuals here at the end did end up gathering towards Whitewater, and a lot of answers were given to questions, yet even more questions remain. Join us next Saturday for episode 32. Don't have a name for it yet, but it's probably The Response. As we're going to have Melancholy Melody on Sunday, where Melody God, who plays Shadow here, is going to be playing scary games. I do believe on the market is Fear. We do have sound alerts set up for that, so you're able to scare the fuck out of him.
Fear was last week.
Oh, Fear was last week? All right. So you're probably gonna have Dead Space then, so you could still scare the fuck out of him. Wednesday is Wednesday Will Gathering, which is the Q&A for individuals that show up that are players, that the chat will be able to have for the players, so the players can ask other players questions or even the DM questions, blah blah blah. It's our Q&A. We stream it here on Wednesday, roughly around, 7 Central? 7 Central to roughly 9 to 10 Central. Somewhere in that block, we stream the Wednesday Wool Gathering.
Yeah, it's usually
Then-
7 to 8:30, 7 to 9. That area.
Roughly around noon on Thursday, we have Thaumaturgy Thursday, where Felwolf, myself, and most of the time Celia, maybe Spaz, if they, remember that they were supposed to help us do Thursdays.
I thought it was the one time, and then I had work the next week.
We're gonna play games. Don't know what it is gonna be, but we're gonna play games. We'll figure something out, or we'll probably just sit there and talk about D&D while games getting played in the background, like we did last week. And then you have later that Thursday evening, Lobotomy Corporation with Melody God, where they try to micromanage the SCP Foundation, essentially, in a almost Fallout Shelter style game. You can pop in for that later on Thursdays, and then back into next Saturday as episode 32. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us this long. We're probably going to send you to Hero Forge, who normally does D&D stuff like painting minis and doing giveaways in their chat. We enjoy them. They always ask us questions and help stimulate our resident need-to-know-it-all, Spaz, to conclude the evening with a summary in their chat. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And stay epic. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Peace, kids.
Take care.
Good night.
Deuces.
Yes, guys, I'll do the raid too. God,
Don't worry about it.
jeez. Look at that.
Look-
I did that
oh.
as well. Jeez, man.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
So
all right,
proud of you.
Throwing us in mute. Now we can, 1 second. Hold on. Can't badmouth each other yet.